PLC Network here with another unboxing, this time coming from the company MAONO. And we're actually sitting in front of a previous kit that we've covered over here. This is the MonoCaster with their condenser microphone here. And this is a whole nother story. We'll have, of course, a link in the description to take you over to that story that we have a whole video on. But today, the focus is on this microphone. This is the MAONO PD400X Dynamic Microphone. It's capable of both XLR and USB connectivity, so it pretty much works with everything. Windows, Apple system, well, any device, computers, or even iOS devices, as well as Android or probably Linux as well. As long as it's plug and play, or whatever device you're plugging it into, this should work with it. It's good for podcasting, vlogging, and many other things, including possibly vocals as well. It's hard to say. We haven't really tested it out yet, but we're about to connect it in just a moment. But first, a few more key points. It is a cardioid pattern microphone, which means it's more of a directional microphone that focuses on whatever's in front of it, and it kind of eliminates most of the noise behind it and kind of reduces any kind of sound coming from the sides. It has a volume knob that's built into the microphone that has a three-purpose kind of mode that you can switch through by just pressing down on it, and it switches between three different options, including mic gain, monitor volume, as well as the monitor mix, which is just the mix between the monitor volume and the microphone gain. It's compatible with the MAONO Link app, which is an app that gives you additional flexibility and control over the audio that the microphone is producing. You have some of the same volume and headphone control as you do the knob that's physically on the microphone, but you also get a limiter and a compressor and some EQ and so forth, which adds a little bit more to the microphone, being that most microphones don't offer that. It is, of course, since it's compatible with any device, it is, of course, compatible with the MonoCaster, which is why we started off with this, because we figured if we're going to play with one of their new microphones, why not pair it with one of their own audio interfaces? And it also has one last feature to mention, is it has a tap to mute feature, which is pretty cool. You just tap this little area on the microphone where you'll see a little mute icon, and that mutes the microphone, so you don't have to reach over to your computer and mute it from there. And all of this is for an MSRP of $149, $150 for this microphone. So all of that being said, let's take a look at what it looks like. Now, the first thing you come across here is the instructions, and it's going to be in multiple different languages, so it's not as thick as it looks, but this is just going to show you some of these features that we just discussed. It does come with its own stand, so if you look inside the box here, you have a foam windscreen, you have the microphone. Looks like this is the upper section of the stand, or just the mount for the microphone. You have your base here, as well as some XLR cables, so you don't have to go find your own XLR cable. That foam windscreen is, well, it's a foam windscreen. So if you're in a windy environment, or if you just have a subject that breathes heavily, definitely make use of the windscreen so you're not picking up all that wind in the microphone. It'll also reduce your P's and B's if you're finding that there's a lot of implosives in there as you're recording your audio. You have your cables here, or a cable at least for XLR, so this is going to run between the microphone and whatever you're plugging into. It'll be an interface, a computer, or a board, and you have your USB to USB-C. This is USB-C on the mic side, and USB-A will plug into, again, make sure computer or anything else that accepts that input. We have our base here, which actually does have feet on it, which is nice. This one didn't come with that, so that'll be nice to prevent any scratching to the surface of your desk or any other surface area you sit this on. And then, I was right, this is not just a mount, but the upper section of the stand. This just screws to the base, and you're ready to go. Now, it's a little bit low because of that, so you're going to want to keep this somewhere close to you, so you're not having to lean into it or lean forward or anything like that. Just keep this close, or if you want, maybe kind of heighten it up on something, or just screw this on to a normal mic stand, such as this, a table mic stand, or an arm or something to get it even closer to your mouth if you feel that that's necessary. But the microphone here can be adjusted in terms of its swivel capabilities with the two knobs here. The bottom section here is where all your connectivity is. You have your XLR, your USB, and then you have a little simple EQ option here. That's just going to give you your high-pass filter, or if you just want it flat, or if you want a presence boost, or a combination between your high-pass filter and a presence boost. And then you have a headphone monitoring port here which is pretty interesting to have on any of these USB-style microphones because that gives you the ability to monitor your audio live without having to have another device to monitor with, like an interface here. So in our situation here, we're going to be running everything through this board here. This board does allow for monitoring. In fact, it has 2 headphone ports and a monitor speaker out on the back. But if you don't have that, this opens up that capability for you so that you can do it directly from the microphone itself. And of course, again, there's this button right here. This is going to be your master volume and gain control when you're not using the app. You press it down each time, switching between the various modes. You have your mic gain, again, headphone or monitor volume, as well as your mix between the two. So that way it controls the audio that's coming out of the headphone jack on the back. That's it. It's a really simple microphone, just like any microphone should be. So most importantly, let's take a look at what it sounds like. So we're going to hook it up to this board and find out. So now we have it connected to the Monocaster interface here. That gives you a lot of fun controls in terms of sound effects and reverb and even auto-tune and noise cancellation, which is on right now. We're going to go ahead and turn it off.
Noise canceling off.
And this is what the microphone sounds naturally. No noise cancellation. We have a little fan blowing over here just to give us some noise since this is a controlled environment. So to be fair, we wanted to have a little bit of noise in here. And so just, again, put a little fan over here in the corner. It's a little blower. It's on low. But this is what it naturally sounds like. And what it'll sound like if you have this on your desk, using this for podcasting or streaming your favorite games or vlogging or anything else you might want to use this for. I use this to kind of prop it up a little bit since our desk here at the studio is a little bit low for something this small or at least for a stand this small, but this brings it a little bit closer to my mouth. Typically, on a microphone like this, you don't want to get it too close because you're going to get really boomy, and you might even get some more implosives in there from your P's and B's. So you want a little bit of a distance between you and your microphone, and this is a pretty good distance. I can get a little bit closer if I want, but this should be good. But here you have it. This is the MAONO PD400X Dynamic Microphone, connected to an interface here, but this allows us to control the volume since we're connected here via XLR, and that prevents us from using the volume here on the microphone because that does require power to the microphone to get that to work. So for that to work, you're going to be wanting to connect it via USB to your computer or any other device that takes USB connectivity, and then you'll be able to control that volume from here as well as from the app. So it's something I should have mentioned. If it's XLR connected to something, it's going to be like any other XLR microphone. It's going to be dependent upon your interface and not so much the buttons on the microphone. Again, XLR, no activity here for the buttons and the touch mute option right there. And if you're plugging it in via USB, you'll have these features as well as the app. Now, I mentioned that touch mute. I didn't point that out. That's this little icon right here in the top. All you have to do is touch that when you're in USB connectivity, and that's going to mute the microphone. Touch it again, it's going to unmute the microphone. So it's a really simple, very user-friendly microphone. Sounds pretty decent. In fact, it's quite close to the other microphone that was connected to this. But again, this is a cardioid dynamic microphone. So no phantom power needed, and it's a cardioid pattern, which means it's focused on you and not so much everything around you. At least it's focused in my situation, it's focused on me and whatever sounds reflecting off the wall behind me. So again, it's $150. Definitely take to the comments below and let us know what you think. Does this sound like a microphone you'd be interested? You could see yourself using this maybe? Or maybe if you have a question to ask us or each other or even the company if they're watching, definitely take to the comments and share your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe and follow us as well as tick that like button so we know you've liked this video. And as always, we thank you for watching and we'll catch you next time. If you want to stay on top of all the latest and greatest or at least the gadgets we cover, remember to subscribe right here. Subscription button. Click it. You're going to want to. There's lots of videos, interviews, previews, all sorts of stuff. Button. Click it.